Does it trouble you that a lot of your fans are older men?
I mean, it's not, I don't really think about it that much. I don't think about it like that.
Your OnlyFans has no nudity.
I mean, no, not yet, at least.
So to get lean, I kind of have a different approach to doing it than most models. So like instead of doing cocaine to get lean, I actually do crystal meth.
Where you at, Berto?
The younger generation is not okay.
20 to 30% of US college students only have basic quantitative literacy skills. That's the ability to interpret numerical information to solve a real-world problem, aka a word problem on a math test. Over 75% of people enrolled at two-year colleges are not able to fully understand things they read. But although you may think this is information from 2026, this actually comes from a study in 2006. 2006, and here I was listening to middle school and high school teachers complaining that the kids can't read, believing that it has something to do with brain rot and social media. But what the hell were college kids doing in 2006? Sure, social media was kind of around, and I remember being a little kid in 2006 and consuming brainless content that probably had an effect on my developing brain, but I thought, like many other people, that the rise of content from the early 2010s to now is what was making the kids have a harder time in school. But 54% of adults in 2024 were reading below a 6th grade literacy level.
Annual.
So that shows me that intelligence is not what changed. Instead of Gen Alpha becoming less intelligent than their parents, they've instead just become more depressed.
Tell them you're hungry. I'm hungry.
And this depression has been, of course,
Is that Miss Kip's kid?
to social media use, which also did the same thing to Gen Z, who make up the current college kids who also can't read. Although academically, they're not much different than the millennials. But essentially, social skills are being traded for tech skills, since Gen Alpha is about 30% less physically active than millennials were at their age. Which is crazy how fast it happened. Me and my wife were still under 25 when the COVID pandemic started, which is when, for a brief moment, the world changed before the kids even knew how it worked. And this decrease in, well, happiness goes for all of Gen Alpha. Everywhere. You know, I was trying to make a funny video until I made this horrible discovery, but deep down we all knew it. I have never heard the words mental health so much in my entire life until Gen Z's little brothers and sisters made it to middle school. And I don't think it's the same as the people born in...
I wasn't even talking about mental health in fucking middle school, elementary. And I'm not to say that it's not important, but just the idea of a kid thinking that they're struggling with their mental health, that rubs me the wrong way. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that's not important. I'm not saying that children's mental health isn't important. Listen to me very carefully. But you're a kid. Why are you even thinking about your mental health being bad? That's the sad part. You know what I mean? It's like that shouldn't even really be a thought process. Like you should be upset that you got that Timmy cut you in the lunch line. You should be upset that James didn't pick you up to play sand castles. Like, why are we like, oh, my mental health? You know, like I wasn't thinking about that, which I think genuinely was a good thing. Correct me if I'm wrong though. What do y'all think?
The 70s, 80s, and even the boomers, where the concept of mental health was kind of make-believe. Growing up as a kid in the 2000s, we were happier as a whole because we had all the perks of the internet without things like negative comments because it was so much harder for anybody to see any content that you posted. And yeah, there were still issues with body image, but not to the extent of today with looksmaxxing and teenagers and
now they've taken hammers to the face. We just react to another brother not too long ago. I ain't gonna lie. Y'all gotta tap into this video if you haven't already. It's funny, but it's not though. Like this brother right here, y'all need to go watch this video I covered right here. TikToker destroys his face looksmaxxing. I posted about 5 days ago. Very, very sad situation, man. You know, there's some points and laughs too, but it really puts in perspective how cooked this whole looksmaxxing and body imaging thing that we have going on and how bad it's gotten.
Legit children being obsessed with cosmetic surgery or procedures, which I have to note was already happening in South Korea long before the rest of the world caught up. Although millennials do have...
She genuinely looked so much better here. She looked so soulless on this side. What do y'all think? She looks way prettier. Why did she do this? She literally looks like the Grudge now. What the fuck? That's crazy.
Up. Although millennials do have to take the L
Whoa,
for
this
BBLs,
bad.
since Gen Z wouldn't even know what it was if the older millennials didn't popularize it first.
Shaped like the letter P. Que desmadre. Pobre señora, they had her looking like Squidward.
But my goodness, the kids are seeing guys like Clavicular, which although he admits he's not a role model and says not to do what he does, he's admitted to doing meth to stay lean.
So to get lean, I kind of have a different approach to doing it than most models. So like instead of doing cocaine to get lean, I actually do crystal meth.
That's why we wouldn't allow men in this skinny society.
Allegedly making himself infertile due to the things he injects into his body, and bone smashing, which is exactly what it sounds like to essentially chisel his face. I mean, he was injecting face filler into his 17-year-old girlfriend's face, live. All essentially because he's insecure about his appearance. Which, bro, you could.
This nigga does not have a singular tricep on his arm, bro. Mind you, this is somebody that takes fucking steroids and whatnot, but nigga doesn't even have a single molecule of tricep. Sad.
You could have still got a pretty girlfriend without smashing your face and making yourself infertile. And all of this is just about him being able to attract women. But bro, the type of girls you hang around, Charleston White could attract them just by having money. And you're 20,
Facts.
bro. I was in college at 20. Girls your age are not hard to impress. A nice haircut probably would have done the job. And he's of course also a bit of a racist. Please don't be like this guy.
It's really escaping your black boyfriend beating you up.
But he's a good example of this mental health crisis that we all know the world has been going through. The man permanently damaged his body to become more attractive to women. And he's just the most famous example, because many young men and women have gone through significant body modification just to feel attractive. Many things that would have been considered extreme are becoming normal. And as a result, the kids growing up don't.
What the fuck? This nigga went from Eduardo to Chaz. That's crazy.
Know the difference. But whose fault is this, right? We always want to point the finger. But honestly, it's kind of hard to say, at least without sounding like a conspiracy theorist. I can't blame people my age from 20 to 30 because the content most people put on the internet doesn't come from any hidden agenda, it's just their reality. And that's very different from a big celebrity endorsing a certain type of behavior or mindset, because when it comes to people like that, including the Kardashian-Jenner family and even the D'Amelio family, I truly believe that what they promote is part of.
Are the D'Amelios still relevant? I remember that you were the talk of the town, taking over TikTok and everything. Like, I'm sure they're still getting their money. I'm not doubting that. But like, are they still relevant though?
Some agenda? Because
like the Addison Rays, the Charlie D'Amelios and them?
Well, they're getting paid
y'all
to push
tapped in?
whatever their agency decides, essentially. And I feel like it's kind of the case with all the biggest influencers, like the top 1%. But when we're talking about some random streamer that's self-conscious about his appearance, this is not him trying to push his lifestyle on other people, for the most part, because he's just doing what he actually believes is best for him in his life, even if that means literally smashing his face in. Now, I do think that someone is to blame for the wider acceptance of doing adult content as soon as you turn 18, but I can't really pin down exactly who.
Does it trouble you that a lot of your fans are older men?
I mean, it's not, I don't really think about it that much. I don't think about it like that.
Your OnlyFans has no nudity.
I mean, no, not yet, at least.
That's sad, bro. Like, she's already chopped cheese because she's doing what she's doing on OF. But then to like what more do you want? Like, you're so rich. How much is enough? Shorty just got on here and said, not yet at least. Like, bruh. What?
I mean, no, not yet, at least. I'm not shutting that door because I'm very comfortable with who I am.
Or maybe it's not a person, and it's actually a group of people, or a corporation. But it's like the era of being comfortable in your own body quickly turned into something else completely. And the easier it is for people to see what you post definitely contributes to the mental health crisis. Like, imagine you're some kid in 2016 posting videos on YouTube. Unless your parents are brainstorming the content for you on a family channel and doing all the behind the scenes work, there's a very good chance that no one would have ever found your content. But then just a couple years later, TikTok happens and it's most popular with children. And not only that, but the audience of these children our children. You don't have to have any type of following to get negative comments on the internet. And as a child, your brain cannot handle it. Even most adults, like I remember this huge YouTuber named Whistling Diesel saying he has a photo album in his phone that's completely dedicated to negative comments he received, and that cannot be a healthy thing to hold on to. And not to mention the thing that we all joked about that many kids have to deal with in reality now, having an OnlyFans mom.
Lexi Thomas is a parent at Liberty Christian who wants this ad on another parent's car to stay off campus. That other parent is Michelle Klein, and what she has is an OnlyFans.
Well, it's definitely linked to, explicit content, adult content for sure.
Some moms complaining to Klein and the...
Come on, mom. I know you're an OF mom, but you ain't got no decency. Like, bro, just, if you was gonna do this, don't pull up to school with it. Goddamn, take the second car. You an OF mom, bro. I know you got the money. This is disgusting, bro.
School telling her not to use the main entrance and instead drop her kids off across the street.
Back in my day, you just had to worry about kids at school thinking your mom was attractive. But now, some of these kids can search up their classmate's mom and find a little bit more. But the kids watching their favorite influencer get cosmetic surgery or just watching people on social media argue about things that don't even affect them, like the Super Bowl halftime show, imagine how all of this is shaping the next generation. Half of them are going to be scared to have an opinion, and the other half are going to take a very strong stance in one direction just to prove they're not scared to have an opinion. And when I was in college, while I was having fun, I watched people have panic attacks and drop out within the first semester because of whatever mental health problem they were experiencing, just being away from home. And I can't help but think that this type of thing is going to just become worse. Who's going to be a doctor or a lawyer if everyone loses?
That's what I've been saying, bro. Nobody wants to do the real jobs anymore. And I've said this before in videos, and y'all say, Berto, isn't that a little bit hypocritical coming from somebody that's just a YouTuber? Sure it is, but it doesn't make it not true, nigga. It doesn't make it not true. I didn't want to be a doctor. I didn't want to be a lawyer. Like, okay. But I'm looking around and I'm like, wait, hold on. All y'all want to do what we do too? Like, shit. We need niggas to run the world too, or else we all gonna be fucked up in this bitch. Two things can be true at the same time.
Loses their mind before they turn 21. You don't need me to tell you that the kids are cooked, because you probably heard a million people say it by now. But man, it's starting to sound a little bit too close to reality. It's starting to actually sound true. But I'm sure it'll be fine, bro. Right? I kind of proved by looking through these studies that other people did that the kids aren't actually dumber than their older siblings or their parents. They're just sadder. And I guess that can go away eventually, right? I don't know, man. Kind of scared for the future. But then again, I'm kind of scared of the present. And I know that some of the kids have a good head on their shoulders, so I guess we'll just have to push them and hope that they keep it together. Don't forget to ask your little brother or your little cousin how he's doing. And I don't know, encourage him to go outside, I guess.
Nah, for real. I ain't gonna lie though. I'll say it again, bro. If we want to make a change in this world, the biggest place we got to start with is ourselves. So, I know it's a lot easier said than done, and it might feel like a lot of pressure, but bro, when it's your turn to have kids, or if you're an older sibling, or shit, even if you're the younger sibling, tap in with your family and just make it do your due diligence to make sure that you know what's going on with them and where their head's at. Ask them what their goals are, and support each other. Try to really help the people that pour into you or pour into the people that need a little bit more in their cup. You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of how we can make our change. Start with ourselves first. Love y'all. Appreciate y'all. Where you at, family? I'll see you on the next one. I'm gone. Tap into Twitch stream so you don't miss the live stream reaction.
Where you at, Berto?
I made this shit look too easy.